Good afternoon and welcome back in the second session of teleconferencing for Diploma in Nursing Administration program. I request Regional Director please inform us about the attendance of the students attending the teleconferencing, and if they have any doubt, they are welcome with their questions. I have two experts to solve their question and to discuss this topic. Today we will be covering the topic personnel policies. My immediate right to Mrs. Senthama, she is Vice Principal in School of Nursing, St. Stephen Hospital, and my left, Ms. Nirja Sood, she is lecturer in School of Health Sciences, IGNOU. In our previous discussion, we have discussed about the personnel management. As we said, personnel are the group of people working in the organization, and group of people, when they are working, they need some guidance. And what all are that guidance? How they will be working in the organization. Now we will be discussing in the form of policies, personnel policies. I request Ms. Nirja Sood just give the introduction and definition of some important terms related to personnel policy.
Thank you, Mrs. Lakshmi. In every organization, wherever you are working, has certain policies. They can be regarding recruitment, education, welfare, salary, leave, training, performance, anything. I hope you must have gone through or seen some of the policies and know some of the policies. It is not new, only you have to conceptualize what you know and what are the certain new things and maybe you are not aware of. Because policies are very, very important. They are actually guidelines for action for the employees to achieve the objectives. They help in decision making and they are flexible and they are applicable in many situations. The policy is a deliberate action to achieve the outcome and it differs from the rule. Rule means, a law means, it is, you cannot divert from the rule. Rule like, for example, suppose there is a rule for the leave is only 30 earned leaves will be given to the every employee. This is a rule. But policy can be due to constraint in the hospital. They can say we will not give 30 earned leave together, but they can take maybe 10 together, or afterwards they can give when there is more staff is there or shortage is less, or when the in the hospital patient load is less, they can give rest of the earned leave later, because they cannot give earned leave to all the employees together. So rule, law and policies are different. Policies are flexible and rules and laws are fixed. We cannot divert from these. And policy is actually the intent of the organization, means what organization means for the personnel, and they can be written or they can be verbal policies. And the goals of the policy may vary according to the organization. In hospital, the policies will be different. In health center, the policy will be different. In office, the policies will be different. And some of the policies have very, very positive benefit for the employee and for the organization. For example, in some of the hospital, all the purchases are done by the central store because it has a positive impact. The organizations feel if they have purchasing at a centralized department, the cost will be less. All the departments do not have to go through all the processes from the tendering, purchasing, then again seeing, storing them and then issuing them. So it saves time, energy, manpower and money of the organization. And other positive aspects, some of the positive benefit seeking policies are, in recent years, some of the organizations, what they are doing, they are arranging common vehicle for the members to come to the department and go back in the evening. It helps both the employees and the employer. Employer is ensured that employees will reach in time in the office and they will reach safely back. And employee also feels safe when they have a departmental vehicle and their time, energy and tensions are relieved. The definition of a policy, we can say a policy is a guideline to act or a predetermined course of action to achieve the organizational goal. And the second way of defining the policy is, a policy is also defined as a statement or understanding which provide guidance to the members of the organization in decision making in respect of any course of action. So in this way we can see this, the policy actually are the guidelines. They are flexible, they are made by the organization, they can be written or oral, but definitely written policies are much more clear and they do not create any confusion.
Thank you, Madam Neerja. And I think the person should respect the policies of the organization because they give the guidance how the person will be working in organization. So after discussing the meaning of these terms, now I think it is important to discuss the characteristics of sound personnel policies. I request Madam Santhama to discuss the characteristics of sound personnel policies.
Thank you, ma'am. So we can able to say that the characteristic of a sound personnel policy, we can also know it as principles of policy making, because when you are making the policies of any of the organizations making the policy, it is based upon certain principles. So the first thing is that when you are making any organization who is making a policy, it is depend upon the organizational objectives. Each organization is having their own objectives and philosophies or policies are there. So when I am making the policies, it is depending upon the objectives of that particular organization. And when you are making an policy, it should be in written form, because this is a message which is transferring from the manager or the director to the other members of the organization. So it is to be better to be in the policy should be in a written form. Then another character of this one is that the policy conveys a definite decision resulting from decision making process. So a policy conveys, that means it gives a decision making. So in the case of any organization, if any problems are facing for the organization from any members of the organization, we have to have a definite policies. Otherwise it will be difficult for us to take a decision. It is a wastage of time for the director or whoever may be the person who is controlling the organization. So it is very good to have a policy in written so that we can make the decisions very early as possible. And another thing is that if a policy is there, it is good for the members of that particular organization because it gives a guideline for them. If I am going to do a work in that, and what are the policies of that particular area, if I am getting a guideline, it is very easy. Through the policy, if I am getting a guideline, it will be easy for me to do the work, or can say to take a decision also, to decide their course of action also. But on the other hand also, it's that like that, it limits their functions also, it limits their freedom also. We cannot able to take our own decisions or something like that. If the policy is there, if I am the person who is in charge of a particular area, I have to take a decision, but I have to follow the principles of the objectives which is the organization is having. But it is a limitation is also there. And but also side by side it helps me, each one of us, to decide their course of action also. And it is formulated by a definite committee. It is not like that one person is making the policy. In our hospitals and Stephen Hospital, we are making the policies, the committee is there. And it can be members of the governing body also, it can be the members of the internal management committee also. So they are the helping person for the director also to make the policy. Because it should be made by definite committee, it is the view of different peoples. So it is also one way, because it helps us to see the views, the policies, the principles which has to be obtained for obtaining the objectives of that particular area, particular organization. And in another way, one of the characters should be it is stable in nature. We can able to say that it is stable in nature, because I had some problem, I had adopted the policies of one. In another cases, after a few months or something, the same case might have come. So it is a stable. So what policy which I had applied to that particular case, the same one is coming later also, I can very easily apply the policies. So it is stable in nature. But some of the times we need a flexible also. We cannot able to be rigid, because when the madam has told the rules, we cannot able, it is very rigid, cannot able to change. But madam has also told that the policies is flexible also. Some of the times we may have to be in the flexible nature, it should be flexible also. And you can able to say that it is received as a pair the changes in organization objectives. It is made or it has to be reviewed. It has to be changed time to time. It is not like that I had made a policy in 1980. I am following the same policy because when the members are coming, the educational level is different, the traditional things are different. So in some cases, we cannot able to follow the same policy which I had made earlier. So the revision is needed in the case of policy also. That is one of the characteristics which is to be maintained in the principle which has to be kept in mind. And when we are making a policy based on decision should be very clear. It is not like that we made a policy, it is not able to understand by the members who are there in that particular area and easy to understand to them also. That means when we are able to easy to understand, it is easy for the members to implement it also by all members of the organization. So there won't be any confusion. Otherwise, if we had the policy, the members are not able to understand what is written in that policy, what I have to follow in the particular area. When I am facing some problems, I need some of the policies helping me. But if it is not clearly mentioned, it myself having confusion and also the people who are under me also will have the confusion. A policy is a generalized to be followed by all. It is not for things that for individual. It is followed by all the members of that particular organization. They have to respect, as Madam has told that we have to respect the policies. We have to give values for the policies. So we have to see that all the members of that particular organization, because the goal of each individual of that particular organization is the goal of that particular main organization. My goal is also related to the goal which is my institute has to get through that. So policy is generalized and are followed or can by all, or it can be a limited one also. And it should be formulated in such a way to extend its scope into similar situations. As I told you the previous time also, when I had faced some problems, I had adopted the policies which is there maintained by the organization. So the same situation has come after 2-3 months also. So it is very easy for me to adopt. I can say there is no need for me to go through the revision or to go through any other things because it is already there. It is a stable policy which was made by the organization. So I can be able to follow the same policy in a similar situation also. It makes the one person not to waste the time also, because if the director is doing almost all the works of the organization, there may be a time waste. So there is no need for him to go through all this. So it is we can say it is saving the time of that particular manager also. And another thing is that to avoid the feelings of bias and unfairness. So there won't be any unfairness because if the policy is there, our nursing superintendent has, I have told you earlier also, is dealing with some particular person like that. If the written policy is there, for her also it is very easy and there won't be feeling from the other members of the staff of the organization that ma'am is doing partiality to someone and madam is not doing fair to them. Then we can able to say that this is the which I had made the decision. I am following the policies of that particular organization. So we can able to very clearly say that unfairness should not be there. So these are the characteristics, or you can say these are the known as the principles of policy making.
So I think it is clear that these were the certain characteristics and which all the personal policies should have. Then only the organization will work smoothly. And as Madam has said that sometimes it is helpful, and I will also agree with that. But sometimes it restricts our actions. In our nursing field, like if a hospital policy is that the nurse cannot follow any do any procedure without doctor action, then it definitely restricts our nursing action. And and I think some of the hospitals are following the same. And unfortunately, we have to follow the policy of the hospital.
I will support this said one thing. Some of the hospitals have standing orders for the nurses, or some manuals are there with the standing orders. So nurses in some of the situations can follow the standing orders also.
So aside this is also the policy standing orders. So it is helpful also, and sometimes it becomes like restricted. Make us harmful also. Yeah. So after discussing these characteristics, now we'll see what all are the types, because one type of the policy cannot work in our organization. We have different types of policies. I request Madam Nija to explain the types of policies.
Thank you. There are certain types of policies. First, I will start with the general and the specific policy. With example, I will just explain you what do you mean by general policy. General policy in nursing is every nurse after completing their training has to register as a registered nurse and registered midwife. This is a policy of the nursing profession. Unless they are registered as RNRM, they cannot practice. The specific policy for the nursing personnel is, like for example, they have to work in a critical area. It can be ICU, suppose. Some of the hospitals made a policy that first they have to work in a recovery room, then only they will be posted in ICU, because it's a very, very critical area, especially the cardiac or the neurosurgery care unit. And our experience in the OT, we can say, that is operation theatre, the new nurse, when she joins, she cannot assist any of the surgeon in the major surgery unless she has assisted or helped the sister, senior sister, in assisting the surgeon. So these are some of the specific policies in the specific departments which are made by the hospitals. The second type is expressed, that is oral or written. Oral policies are flexible, they are less authentic and sometimes create confusions. Suppose the sister in charge give the order to one of the staff nurse that from tomorrow you will be working in the, instead of working in the evening shift, you will go to the OPD and work. So this is not clear. There is sister do not know when she has to go, in place of her who will come, and if she gives a written order like this, order of a sister issue on name like Smitha and Jolly will work in maternity OPD for 2 weeks, that is from 9/11/08, and in place of them Sunita and Veena will work in the maternity ward for 2 weeks. So sister or the ANS or the DNS knows, yes, there will be 2 substitutes and these 2 sisters will be going to work in the OPD, and in the ward they will get 2 new sisters who will be working in place of them. So there can be certain reasons for this. So implied, what is implied policy? That is, behaviors and actions of our supervisors are followed by the others. It can be questionable. Nowadays, the policy actually in the ward is, the ward sister, when they take round, they take all the sisters and take round from one bed till the end. From patient to patient they take the round. But it has been seen in some of the hospital, the policy what sisters have made, they stand in middle of the ward and take the round and take the brief from the night sister or the evening sister or the morning sister, that what the patient number, bed number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is. They do not go from one bed to another and do not see the, review the records and do not take individual reports. So it becomes a policy. So the behavior of the sister in charge is followed by the staff nurses. Then the organized or originated or the internal policy, originated within the broad framework of the top managers to guide the subordinate. I can give the example that every ICU nurse who attends any conference or workshop will come back and take sessions for all the nurses working in ICU and recovery room. It can be internal policy in ICU, because it's not possible that every ICU nurse will get to attend the workshop or seminar or in-service education. So some of the hospitals make a policy, internal policy of that department. Doctor or a nurse, whosoever go and attend, they will come back and repeat the same for the whole group. Applied, on request of the subordinate. Suppose there are no standing orders, as just we were discussing, and nurses have to carry out certain basic things which can be carried out in the absence of a doctor. So standing orders are very important. They are on request, or on request for the change of posting in medical grounds or any other ground. Maybe the hospital has a policy that they will not change the posting of the nurses. But on request on certain grounds, the staff can make a request that my posting should be changed. But sometimes this takes a wrong side also, or wrong practice also. Suppose the sister changed the posting of one staff nurse and the other comes to know, and they also think, let me also take the posting in a light area, because this is very easy to get. But I will say it's not easy. If we follow the rules and policies, it is should be same for all and exceptional, giving the reasons. Whenever we change any posting, anything, the justification and reason should be sound. Imposed or external, that is thrust upon by the government, labor unions or associations. Like we were discussing in our previous section, the staff nurses to be employed on contractual basis and wages should be as per norms. Because the policy of the government of India is not to have a regular staff in the hospital but to employment on the contractual basis. They are not seeing the side effect of that. We have high turnover. Staff is not satisfied with the pay package because they get a consolidated pay depending upon every state. It starts from the 5,000 to 10,000, and in some of the states unfortunately ANMs are getting more than staff nurses. So how they will satisfied? So some of the external imposed policies are there which has to be followed by the government organization. Then other is organizational by top managers. Like the common policies are made in the hospital. Timing of the OPDs. It can be 9 to 12, 9:30 to 12:30. It depends on the hospital policy. Working time and schedule of the staff. Again, the rotational, the staff nurses are working in some of the hospital from 7 to 3, 3 to 9 and 9 to 7, or 8 to 2, 2 to 8 and 8 to 8. It depends on the organization how they make policies. And visiting time in the hospitals are also different. The organizational are made by the top managers, and some of the departmental policies, functional policies in a particular department, they like policies in OT that sorry, changing of slippers and gowns are important. Visiting hours for mothers in the nursery to feed the baby. Timing for collection of blood samples for diabetic patient. Excuse me. This is very important because in some of the hospital it was seen the diabetic patients are waiting till 9 o'clock. So some of the hospitals have changed the schedule. They call the diabetic patient at 8 a.m.
These were the types of policies. All of you are going to become in future the administrator and manager and will be working as a nursing superintendent or sister in charge in your particular work setting. And so now I think it is clear what all are the types of policies and what all are the characteristics. Now that means these implied policies and appealed policies are not, they are implied the one particular person is behaving in her own style, but it is not written as Madam Nirja has explained. An appealed one, though it is not practical, but we are always welcome this appeal, and then if it is considerable, then the department consider the case. Now after discussing this, now we'll see the importance of policies. How it is important, what all are the importance. I request Madam Santhama to discuss the importance of policies.
So the importance of personal policies, if you are taking, it helps it to establish a standard in the organization. For example, in our own, you can say they are the products of values or belief and the language of that particular organization. In our hospital, we are having a very good standard of nursing care because we are having our nursing superintendent is maintaining the policies very strictly, and she is also supervising and guiding them and also giving the in-service education so that it helps them to maintain, because it is the policies, if they are following in the correct way, if we are giving a good guideline, because policies are the guideline. So the nursing superintendent always is the one who is giving a very good guideline to our own staff nurses. So we are able to maintain establish a standard in the organization because they are following the policies very correctly. And they serve as a guide or for a quick and correct decision. That is also very important. That means proper action can be taken. Whenever the nursing problems are arising in any of the particular ward, we are having the policies. For example, one staff nurse is absent for a long time. The nursing superintendent and the in charge who is finding is very difficult. So we are following the policies so we can able to take action for that particular girl. We can call her that if you are absent for like this, you may be losing your job. So because we can able to say it very very correctly because we are having the policies with us. So there won't be any problem for us because it gives us a guide, and also it gives a guideline for the members who are working in that particular area also, because they know that if I am doing like this, written policies are like that. So it also gives avoiding that circumstances in that particular area. Acts as guidelines to day-to-day work activities. It is also very good. When we are following the policies, it is easy for us to do the day-to-day work in an easy way without any confusion or any conflict or anything in our mind. It also provides a sense of, can say, or can say elevation or clearness, or it helps us to helping in setting priorities. We are having the need of doing the priority. As in the case of nursing profession also, we are also teaching the students to maintain, or staff nurses to see the priorities. We have to see the, first we have to see the priority. We are always telling when you are writing a nursing care plan also, we are also telling that we had made the policy that it should be according to the priorities. So if the written policies are there, it also helps us to see that which are the priorities which you have to help us in settling the priorities one by one. And it also helps to work in a well-organized manner, which saves time and effort of organization. In the previous time also I had told you the characteristic of that one of the policies. It helps us to have a well-organized manner. We can work in a well-organized manner. There won't be any confusion anywhere. And also it serves the time. There won't be, if we are having the policies in our institute, we can able to follow it very correctly, and it saves our time. And also it gives us less effort, because if you are not having the policies, we had to make a meeting, we had to conduct the meeting, we had to select some members to come, and we had to take a decision again. It is saving, I can say it is a loss of time for us, because we had to call the particular members from different areas where their presence is very essential. So it also says in that way also it efforts of organizers, and they facilitate, can say, coordination of effort. I had told in the previous class, it is made by different different members. So it gives a coordination also there and among the members of the organization. So if I am a member, I also will get the time to express my views and values, which can be the principle which I can give making the policy. So I will also feel a satisfaction that somebody is recognizing me, somebody is giving a value for me also. I am also a member in that one for making the policies. And then it is a uniformity of action. Earlier also I had told it gives an action. When you are taking an action, uniformity is there. Nobody will say that director has applied the policies to one person in another way, and somebody is absent for a long time. They are told him to come and back and join for duty. So that is not like that. If the policies is there is, so that means we can take the actions or any of the problems in a uniform way. So it also saves our time, and also it is very clear also. And effective delegation of duties, that is very important. If you are not having the policies or this delegation of work, in our own hospitals we are having the delegation of work is well organized, because when the new staffs are also coming, madam is giving the good orientation to the staff, so that they are knowing the policies of that particular area, particular ward, also particular hospital also. So it gives from the earlier time itself, the delegation of, effective delegation of duties will be there. If we are telling the things which has to be done, so the staff who is coming from an outsider also is coming to our own hospitals, they know the policies, so it gives a effectiveness in the delegation of their duties. And also it gives the authorities also, it gives an authority for us also. And it is a better, or can say, orientation. It gives a better orientation. I told you, when we are the new staff is coming, if we are not explaining the policies of our organization, of our hospital, they may not be having the orientation to that particular area. That's why we are having, madam, our nursing superintendent is conducting 2 to 3 days orientation classes. She is conducting very well. So our staff nurses who are joining are also will not find the difficulty to cope up with the routine things which is in our own hospitals. And it permit cooperation also. That is the one thing we all needed it also. Cooperation with each other. So it gives a permission, or to permit a cooperation. Everyone is expected to perform the significant duties or according to the common policies. So I also have the responsibility. I also have the right to follow the specified duties according to the common policies which is made for each organization. Then only we can able to achieve the goal of that particular organization. If I am not able, I am not coping up with the policies of that, that means I am not deciding to maintain the main, because each organization is having a particular goal. Especially in private institute, the manager will have the certain goals, and they will say that particular, it's for example in the College of Nursing, our when the results are coming, our director will ask, have the all students has been passed, because they are telling that main goal of our institutes of the educational program is that to achieve a good result. So if I am following the policies in a time to time, taking the classes in time, making the evaluation in time, giving the result to the principal in time, if a girl who is not doing well, reporting to the principal and calling the parent, so that means I am following the policies to maintain the main goal of that education institute to get a good result. And it also serves as a basis for further decision. That I have told you earlier also, it gives us a basis for the further decision which we have to take. And it is treated equally. There is no partiality at all. We are able to treat it very equally. For example, in the case of students also, if they are misbehaving, if they are doing some breaking the rules and regulations of that particular institute, education institute, we can able to treat each student equally, so that if the written policies are there, in such cases it will save our time also, and the members also will say that we are equally treated, and also they feel that they are having a value in that particular organization.
I can add just one thing, the importance of written policies. Like Madam Santama was telling, for the new employees, it's very important. In one of our Delhi government hospitals, what happened, one new staff nurse came and she went on maternity leave with taking away the keys of minor OT. And it was a big disaster on her part to take away the minor OT keys of a new hospital, and there were no duplicate keys available due to certain reasons, and she was called back to give up the keys and give explanation. It was the fault of both, I think, employee also and the employer also, because they have not explained her anything when she was relieved, or it was not clarified from her that she has handed over the charge properly or not.
Thank you, Madam Nirja, for discussing this important example for supporting the topic. So very nicely, Madam has explained the characteristics of the personnel policies. We make the policies, if we are not maintaining it, we are not following it, then it is useless. So for effectiveness of personnel policies, it depends on the objectivity while making it, uniformity also, and consistency. Well, this is during the implementation process, and all the staff has to read the policy thoroughly and has to follow the policies while working in the organization. Especially in our nursing department, we have to follow the policies strictly to keep us safe. Now, after discussing this, now we'll see how these policies are formed. What all are the methods of making personnel policies? I request Madam Senthama to discuss the methods of formulating personnel policies.
So policy formulation steps, we can able to say that defining the policy, that means we should, when I am making a policy, when the director is making a policy, we have to define the policy, the area where that to be applied. For example, in the case of the recruitment of staff nurses, we are having the policy that we will have our nursing superintendent is collecting all the forms, and she is going through that particular application forms, and she will be selecting the particular candidates, and then which are the areas we need. For example, if she needs medical ICU, she is giving the recruitment, during the recruitment, she is giving more the policies which areas to be covered is of medical ICU. So that should be, for example, in the uniform of nurses. So we should have a definite area or policy area, defining the policy area to be there when you are, that means formulating a policy. And another one is that evaluation of policy. That means there are different policies are there. So we should know what are the objectives achieved or not in, or can say whether it is not running in a smooth way or not. For example, when you are adopting a policy, we have to see that sometimes the friction can be obtained, because we made a policy and that policies are not able to be accepted by the members also. Why? Who has made this policy? How can it be possible? So these things will be there. So we have to see that we have to do the evaluation of policy in different ways, or can say what are the objectives we had achieved from that policy. We had to make an evaluation whether the policy is effective or not, whether the policies are able to be adopted by the members of that particular organization. So we had to make we can able to say that whether it is following the characteristic of a sound policy. When we are making so that the policy should be made in a way that it should be a very sound policy. It is contain all the characteristics which is to be needed. Then choosing the right policy, that is very important. For example, in the case of, it is a very tough job to make a policy. It is not easy. We can say that what policy the manager is making, but when you are making a policy, we have to see different views are there, different things we have to. It is a very tough job. So right policy is that which can say, for example, in the case of merits of all principles and characteristics of a sound policy. It should include all the principles, all the merits which can be, or can able to say that it is made in such a way that we can able to fulfill all achievements of that particular objectives of that organization. So the organization manager should make a policy in such a way that that policy should be made in a way that it is giving an achievement of that particular objectives of that particular organization. And intimation and interpretation of policy, that is very important, because there should not be any interpretation. That means proper communication. That is very important in nursing profession, because in the case of nursing profession we are dealing with the people who are living so we should have a proper communication is an essential factor in policy formulation. That means the policy, I had told you in the earlier also, madam also has now told that written policy should be very clearly mentioned. Otherwise it will not be possible to take into action. And we should avoid interpretation. That is very important. When we are making a policy, it should be very clearly mentioned that if I am reading that policy, the same interpretation should be taken from by the another member who is reading the policy. Otherwise what will happen? I read the policies of that particular word, then I will say that I understood like that, so I followed that word. It is not my fault. So it should be written in a very clear, so that the member should understand what is written. It is very clearly should be written, so that we can able to avoid the interpretation which is occurring in that particular area. Has to have a uniformity. Again, that means we should have a uniformity. It is not like that in particular area we are making a particular policy for because employees of the hospitals are the employer. For employer, they are all equal. Whether it is a fourth class, whether it is a second class, whether it is a third class, whatever may be, if a high post also, for the employer it is of equal, and so that he is making the policy from the top to the bottom, and it should be active for all the people from the top to bottom. So then only we can able to say that that organization is following a very good policy. There is no partiality, there is no nothing, confusion is not there, there is no interpretation is not there. That director is managing the hospital very well. We can say that the policies which is adopted by that particular manager or the director of that particular hospital or the nursing superintendent of that hospital is we are having the feedback are also there. Sometimes we are very good, excellent things are coming for our evaluation, because it is of that the person who is controlling the staff nurses is giving the policies in such a way or explaining, whether it is an oral one also, whether it is a written one, it is maintaining it in a very clear way, explained to the coordinators in a very clear way. There was no confusion, there is no interpretation, and it is maintaining very uniformity is there. And another thing I had told you, if I made a policy in the year of 1980 or 1950, if our hospital has started in the 1908, so it is a very more than 100 years. Now we are celebrating the centenary, and we are planning to have an oration also in November 14. We have completed 100 years. The policy which the director who was made in the age of 1908 or 1950 cannot be able to follow it now, because there is a generation gap is there. We have to see that also. So we have to have the revision of policies also.
Thank you, Madam Santhama. That means administrator or the in charge has to play a very important role in the in the formulation of the policy and the implementation also, because the committee makes the policy, and it's the role of supervisor or the head of the department that staff should follow the policy, and staff should know the policy. As like we have an induction program. In the induction program, the staff, newly recruited staff, should be clear with all the policies. Now, still we have certain challenges of personal management and changing personal policies, especially in nursing. I request Madam Neerja Sood to discuss these challenges.
Yes, rightly Mrs. Lakshmi has told there are challenges to be taken care of, challenges of the employees, challenges in relation to the employer, because as the time is changing, the expectations of the employees and expectation of the employers are changing. The changing trends in workforce and employees. In the view of nursing, we can say previously there was a time when only unmarried girls were coming to this profession, but now the time has changed. They are married, they are working, they are taking up higher qualification and having the higher post also. So they also have to see that organizations have personal policies accordingly, and some of the organizations are changing the policies according to the changing workforce and the employees. Changing values of the personnel, that is, previously this profession was considered as a vocation, or considered it was not a fully profession, but as time has passed, the WHO has also given nursing as an independent profession, not dependent on the medical profession. We have our own practice area. So the values have changed. Values have changed at today's world. What we were telling, that high turnover is there. Why high turnover? The value is for the salaries. Value is for not monetary benefits of the employees. They want that their environment should be conducive. They should get all possible benefits which will help them to retain them in that organization. So changing expectation of the members and need of the employees and employers. As the time is changing, the demand of the services, the type of services, the timings of the services, hard work, competition, this all is changing, and this all are demanding that policies also should be conducive, so that the employees feel, yes, policies are favorable to them, they are flexible. As Madam Sinthamma was telling, giving example from the Stephen Hospital, yes, it is one of the best hospital. Unfortunately, when I passed out, I worked there for 1 year in 84 to 85, and I found still it is really having a very good personal policies, keeping in view the welfare of the not only of nurses but all the staff members. The changing government policies also influence many things. Now you have seen that the Sixth Pay Commission has brought many changes, and I think all the government, private, autonomous bodies will bring changes in some of the policies according to the Sixth Pay Commission, because it is a demand of the employees and demand of the employers. With these, we can say challenges every day the personal manager has to face the challenges from the employer and from the employee, because it's a very, very vast area. I think all of you have faced certain problems, certain challenges as administrators while implementing the policies, while making the policies. But only one my request is, in the hospitals, please involve yourselves in various committees where policies are made. Unless you involved as a nursing member, the policies won't be sound and appropriate for the nursing profession.
And written policies are not only the paper in keeping in a file, personal file.
Yes.
They are the paper to read thoroughly and to follow.
And to disseminate to the newcomers.
Yeah. So thank you, Madam Neerja. I request regional directors to please send us the number of students attending the teleconferencing, and if they have any doubt, their questions are welcome. So experts have discussed with us the types of policies, method of formulating policies, and we have a challenges, and as an administrator they have to face the challenges, and they have to make staff convinced that why the administrator or administrative department is behaving in this way, and because the policy is like this. So I think students...
If policies are sound, I don't think so that organization will face less problems.
Yeah.
And less complications will be there.
Yeah, then less these challenges and issues will be there. Thank you, Madam Neerja, and thank you, Madam Santhama, for discussing this topic so interestingly and giving the practical examples to help the student to understand the topic well. Thank you.